Don't assume that you already understand your customer because you probably don't. Business expert Clayton Christensen tells the story of a fast food chain that hired his group to increase the sales of milkshakes. The company had done focus groups and asked people what they wanted in their milkshakes and changed the recipe to try to make it better, all of which had almost no result on actual sales. So instead of just accepting what they were being told, the consultants got in. They went on site to try to learn about how milkshakes were being consumed. And what they learned was that almost half of the milkshakes were sold early in the morning, which is completely contrary to what you'd expect. So when they saw people purchasing milkshakes in the morning, they would actually stop them and interview them to try to understand what was going on. It turned out that people wanted something to consume during their commute to work. A milkshake is super easy to manage while you're driving. It has enough calories and sugar to give you some energy early in the morning, and it gives you something interesting to do while you're stuck in traffic. That realization unlocked a lot of business potential for this fast food chain. Instead of just looking for ways to make incremental improvements in the number of milkshakes sold, they could actually start to rethink their whole breakfast line and figure out how to meet this unmet need that commuters have. Almost all customer research I've ever done has resulted in business-changing surprises. There is a goldmine of business opportunity sitting in your customers' heads if you would just be willing to go talk to them. Here's an example of how boots on the ground customer research can change the game. My team was hired to redesign the software interface for a key duplication kiosk. These are the machines you see in like a Home Depot or Walmart where you put your key in and it'll automatically make copies of it. The company that hired us was noticing a lot of abandonment in the process, and they wanted us to make the interface nicer to keep people around and help them complete the sale. Knowing how important it was to figure out what was really going on, we insisted that they let us go on site and spend time doing real user research. And the things we learned in that process completely changed how we designed their product. After watching and talking to customers, what we really came to understand was that if you're getting new keys made, you're probably going through something stressful in your life at that moment. Maybe you moved into a new place or you had to change your locks for some reason. Whatever the cause, users were coming to this transaction with an already elevated stress level. Then you add to that the fact that these are usually placed in a high traffic, highly distracting area. I remember hanging out in the entryway of a Walmart watching a mother trying to duplicate keys while her kids were trying to run out the door. And the existing software on the kiosk was kind of designed from an engineering perspective instead of from a user perspective. So when something went wrong and it couldn't duplicate the key, it would display this bright red error message that made the user feel like they were doing something wrong. The end result of all of these factors combined was that as soon as something broke their flow, the user was out of there. They would just take their key and leave without completing the transaction. So we completely redesigned the software around the concept of reassurance. And we created a design rule for ourselves that there could be no error messages in the process. Whatever happened, it wasn't the user's fault. We designed the whole flow around the idea of positive guidance instead of telling them they had made an error. The end result? A lot fewer users abandoned the process partway through, leading to more revenue and success for the company. This is why it's so important for business owners to do actual customer research and to not assume that they understand their customer or what their customer actually needs. When that client hired us, they did not understand that those were the problems that were actually happening. We had to go and figure that out ourselves. If your business isn't giving you the results you're expecting, there's a decent chance that there's a gap in your understanding of your customers and what they really need. And the only way you're really going to solve that is by going out and watching them firsthand and talking to them yourself to understand what's really going on.